Once upon a time in a world where dinosaurs and mythical creatures roamed freely, the mighty T-Rex known as Rexy ruled the land with her extraordinary abilities. Her purple glowing eyes set her apart from other dinosaurs, giving her the power to emit purple energy waves from her roar and tail swipes. Rexy had honed her fighting skills over the years, becoming a formidable opponent to anyone who dared to challenge her. One fateful day, Rexy encountered SCP-682, a fearsome creature with green glowing eyes that emitted energy waves of its own. The two titans clashed in a battle that shook the earth and sent shockwaves rippling through the air. SCP-682's sharp teeth, claws, and bladed tail left Rexy scratched, wounded, and bitten, but her glowing purple eyes allowed her to heal and regenerate her injuries at an incredible rate. As the battle raged on, Rexy unleashed the full potential of her purple energy waves, using them to strike back at SCP-682 with deadly precision. The two creatures moved with ungodly speed and agility, each trying to outmaneuver the other in a vicious display of strength and cunning. Hours passed, and the battle showed no signs of ending. The air filled with smoke and the ground trembled beneath their feet as Rexy and SCP-682 clashed with ferocious determination. Despite their exhaustion, neither creature was willing to back down. Finally, in a final clash that sent shockwaves reverberating across the battlefield, both Rexy and SCP-682 reached their limit. SCP-682 collapsed to the ground, defeated, while Rexy slowly began to fade away through a portal that appeared behind her. Emerging on the other side in an empty hangar at the airport, Rexy found herself covered in bruises and exhaustion. She laid down on the floor, closing her eyes in a moment of peace after the epic battle she had just endured. As Rexy drifted off to sleep, she heard the sound of sobbing nearby. Opening her eyes, she saw Blue, the velociraptor, crying in distress. With a heavy sigh, Rexy moved her tail to comfort her companion, allowing Blue to find solace and peace in her presence. Beside them, Spinosaurus, Rexy's loyal companion, slept soundly, his claws resting gently on her head. The night passed peacefully, with Rexy silently chuckling in her sleep as she dreamt of the battle she had fought and the companions she had protected with her life. In the quiet stillness of the night, the mighty T-Rex slept, her purple eyes glowing softly in the darkness as she rested from the trials of the day. And in that moment, surrounded by friends and allies, Rexy knew that she was truly a force to be reckoned with in the world of dinosaurs and mythical creatures. Words. 462. Rexy, the female adult T-Rex from Jurassic World, stood tall and powerful with her purple glowing eyes, ready to face off against the formidable SCP-682. As the two mighty creatures clashed, the ground shook with each fierce blow. Rexy skillfully emitted purple energy waves from her roar and tail swipes, while SCP-682 countered with green energy waves from its own attacks. The battle was intense, with Rexy getting her body scratched, wounded, and gnashed by SCP-682's sharp teeth, claws, and bladed tail. But her glowing purple eyes allowed her to evolve her healing and regeneration abilities, regrowing every damaged or lost body part endlessly. Despite the injuries, Rexy continued to fight with determination and ferocity. As the hours passed, the clash between Rexy and SCP-682 showed no sign of slowing down. Shockwaves reverberated across the battlefield with each collision, causing destruction all around them. Both creatures grew tired and exhausted, panting heavily as they continued their endless battle. Finally, after a particularly powerful clash, SCP-682 collapsed on the ground, unable to continue. Rexy, covered in bruises and exhausted, vanished through a portal behind her, re-emerging in an empty, smoke-filled hangar at the airport. She settled down on the floor, closing her eyes and finally allowing herself to rest. As Rexy slept, Blue, the female adult velociraptor, approached her, tears in her eyes. Rexy, in her half-asleep state, sensed Blue's distress and laid her tail on her, comforting her. Blue slowly calmed down, a smile appearing on her face as she snuggled up under Rexy's protective tail. Meanwhile, Spinosaurus, Rexy's potential boyfriend companion, lay sleeping beside her, his clawed arms resting gently on her head. The trio of powerful dinosaurs rested peacefully, their bond unbreakable despite the challenges they faced. In her dreams, Rexy murmured words of reassurance and strength, reflecting on the battle with SCP-682 and the importance of unity and loyalty among allies. Blue and Spinosaurus listened, taking comfort in Rexy's words as they drifted off into a peaceful slumber. The night passed peacefully, the sound of gentle breathing filling the hangar as the dinosaurs rested after a hard-fought battle. As dawn approached, the sun rose, casting a warm glow over the sleeping creatures, a symbol of hope and resilience in the face of adversity. And so, Rexy, Blue, and Spinosaurus awoke, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that together, they were unstoppable. Their bond would carry them through any trial, their strength and courage shining bright in the face of darkness. The adventure continued, as they forged ahead, united and strong. Words. 431. In the smoke-filled airport hangar, Rexy slowly opened her weary purple eyes to find Blue, the female velociraptor, crying and sobbing nearby. Rexy, yawning, what's wrong, Blue? Blue, sobbing, I'm sorry, Rexy. I couldn't help you in the battle against SCP-682. I feel useless. Rexy, comfortingly, oh, Blue. You're not useless. You're a valuable member of our pack. Don't be too hard on yourself. Blue, sniffling, but I wanted to protect you, Rexy. I wanted to be strong like you. Rexy, smiling, you are strong, Blue. And you have a big heart. That's what matters most. As Rexy spoke, Spinosaurus, her potential boyfriend companion, stirred from his sleep and yawned. Spinosaurus, how was your day, sweetheart? Rexy, weary, it was exhausting, but I managed to defeat SCP-682. Thanks for asking, Spino. Spinosaurus, nuzzling her, I'm proud of you, Rexy. You're the strongest T-Rex I know. Rexy, blushing, you're too sweet, Spino. I'm just doing what I must to protect our pack. Suddenly, Rexy felt a surge of affection towards Spinosaurus. Despite their differences in species, they had formed a deep bond through their battles and adventures together. Rexy, Dream Elite Spino, do you think we can have a peaceful life together after all of this chaos is over? Spinosaurus, tenderly, I hope so, Rexy. I hope we can find a place where we can rest and live in peace. Rexy, softly, that sounds like a dream come true, Spino. Let's make it a reality. With that, Rexy closed her eyes, feeling content and loved in the presence of her loyal companions. The airport hangar was filled with the sound of their breathing, a tranquil moment amid the chaos of their world. As Rexy drifted off to sleep, she whispered her final thoughts before succumbing to slumber. Rexy, murmuring, thank you, my friends. Thank you for being by my side. Let's face tomorrow together, stronger than ever. And with that, Rexy fell into a deep and peaceful sleep, her purple glowing eyes slowly fading as she embraced the warmth of her pack in the hope of a brighter future ahead. Words, 350. In the aftermath of the epic battle between Rexy, the female adult T-Rex from Jurassic World, and SCP-682, the atmosphere was heavy with exhaustion and tension. The smoke-filled hangar at the airport was filled with a sense of unease as the two powerful creatures lay still, finally taking a break from their relentless clash. Rexy's purple glowing eyes slowly opened as she felt a familiar weight on her tail. A soft sobbing sound caught her attention, and she turned her head to see Blue, the female adult velociraptor, curled up beside her. Rexy's heart sank as she realized that Blue was crying, her usually confident and strong demeanor shattered by some unknown reason. Feeling a surge of compassion, Rexy gently wrapped her tail around Blue, offering comfort and solace. Blue hesitated for a moment before snuggling closer to Rexy, finding comfort in the presence of her friend. Rexy's eyes softened as she watched Blue slowly drift off to sleep, a small smile playing on her lips. As Rexy settled back into her own thoughts, a deep voice rumbled beside her. She turned to see Spinosaurus, the male potential companion she had grown fond of, lying next to her. Spinosaurus yawned and stretched his long clawed arms, his eyes filled with concern for Rexy. How was your day, sweetheart? Spinosaurus asked, his voice filled with warmth and affection. Rexy felt a surge of fondness for him, grateful for his presence in her life. It was intense, Rexy replied, her voice tired but content. But I'm glad to have you by my side. Spinosaurus's eyes softened as he reached out to gently stroke Rexy's head. I'm always here for you, no matter what, he said, his words filled with sincerity. As the night drifted on, Rexy and Spinosaurus continued to lie together, finding comfort in each other's presence. The hangar was quiet, the only sound being the soft snores of the sleeping dinosaurs. In her moments of rest, Rexy's mind drifted back to the battle with SCP-682. The memory of their fierce clash still lingered in her mind, the adrenaline and thrill of the fight coursing through her veins. Despite the exhaustion and wounds she had sustained, Rexy felt a sense of pride and accomplishment in facing such a formidable opponent. As she lay in the dimly lit hangar, surrounded by her friends, Rexy felt a sense of peace wash over her. She closed her eyes and let herself drift off to sleep, her mind filled with dreams of future adventures and battles yet to come. And in that moment, as the gentle snores of her companions filled the space around her, Rexy knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she would always have her loyal friends by her side, ready to face whatever came their way. The night passed peacefully, the hangar filled with the soft sounds of sleeping dinosaurs, a sense of camaraderie and friendship binding them together in the darkness. And as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, Rexy stirred from her slumber, ready to face whatever new adventures awaited her in the world beyond. Words, 522. Rexy, yawning and stretching, that was quite the battle we had today, wasn't it? Spinosaurus, yawning, yes, it was indeed. You were amazing out there, my dear. Rexy, chuckles, you're too kind, Spino. But I couldn't have done it without your support. Blue, sniffling, I'm sorry, I couldn't help you more, Rexy. Rexy, gently patting Blue with her tail, asterisk, go, Blue, don't be so hard on yourself. You did your best, and that's all I could ask for. Blue, sniffling, asterisk, but I wanted to help you more, I wanted to protect you like you protect me. Rexy, smiling softly, you already do, Blue. You're a loyal companion and a fierce warrior. I'm proud to have you by my side. Spinosaurus, nudging Rexy, you truly are something special, my dear. Your strength and courage inspire us all. Rexy, closing her eyes and sighing contently, thank you, Spino. And thank you, Blue. I couldn't ask for better companions. Blue, smiling through tears, we will always be here for you, Rexy. Through thick and thin, no matter what. Rexy, drifting off to sleep, I know you will, my friends. And I am grateful for that. Good night, dear ones. Rest well. As Rexy drifted off into a peaceful slumber, her companions watched over her with love and admiration. The bond they shared was unbreakable, forged through countless battles and challenges. And as they slept under the watchful eyes of the moon, they knew that no matter what dangers awaited them in the future, they would face them together, united as one formidable force. Words, 259. Rexy, the female adult T-Rex from Jurassic World, had always been a force to be reckoned with. With her purple glowing eyes and the ability to emit purple energy waves from her roar and tail swipes, she was a formidable opponent in any battle. But when she faced off against SCP-682, a creature with green glowing eyes and the ability to emit green energy waves, she knew she was in for the fight of her life. As the two creatures clashed, the air around them crackled with energy. Rexy's purple energy waves clashed with SCP-682's green waves, creating shockwaves that shook the ground beneath them. The battle raged on for hours, with both creatures sustaining heavy damage but refusing to back down. Despite being scratched, wounded, stabbed, bitten, and gnashed by SCP-682's sharp teeth, claws, and bladed tail, Rexy refused to give up. Her purple eyes glowed with intensity as she used her full potential to regrow any damaged or lost body parts, constantly evolving her healing and regeneration abilities. As the battle reached its climax, a final clash emitted shockwaves that reverberated across the entire battlefield. Both Rexy and SCP-682 were exhausted, panting heavily as they faced each other one last time. In a final burst of energy, SCP-682 collapsed to the ground, defeated. Rexy, bruised and battered but triumphant, turned to leave through a portal that had opened behind her. She emerged on the other side in an empty, smoke-filled hangar at the airport, where she settled down to rest. As she drifted off to sleep, she chuckled softly to herself, proud of her victory over SCP-682. But her rest was interrupted by Blue, the female velociraptor, who was sobbing and crying nearby. Rexy, still groggy from her battle, comforted Blue with a gentle nudge of her tail, allowing the smaller dinosaur to find solace in her presence. As Rexy drifted back to sleep, she was joined by Spinosaurus, a male dinosaur who had become her potential romantic interest. With his clawed arms resting on her head, he whispered sweet nothings to her as they all settled in for the night. In the quiet of the hangar, surrounded by her friends, Rexy finally found the peace she had been searching for. As she closed her eyes and drifted off to sleep, she knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she would always have her loyal companions by her side. And so, in the darkness of the night, Rexy and her friends rested, ready to face whatever the future held for them. The battle against SCP-682 may have been won, but their adventures were far from over. With a roar of triumph, Rexy settled into a deep, restful sleep, knowing that she was truly unstoppable. Words. 464. As the sun set over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the battlefield, Rexy stood tall and proud, her purple glowing eyes scanning the area for any signs of movement. She knew that SCP-682 was near, lurking in the shadows, ready to strike at any moment. Suddenly, a low growl emanated from the darkness, causing Rexy to tense up as she prepared for battle. SCP-682 emerged from the shadows, its green glowing eyes fixed on her as it let out a deafening roar that shook the ground beneath them. Rexy wasted no time in unleashing her full power, her purple energy waves crashing against SCP-682's green ones in a dazzling display of colors. Their tails swiped and claws clashed, each blow sending shockwaves across the battlefield. The two titans continued to clash, neither willing to back down. Rexy felt the sharp pain of SCP-682's teeth sinking into her flesh, but she refused to give up. With a mighty roar, she increased the intensity of her purple glowing eyes, the light shining brighter than ever before. As the battle raged on, Rexy's wounds began to heal before her very eyes, her body regenerating at an unprecedented rate. She unleashed wave after wave of energy, each one more powerful than the last, as she pushed herself to her limits. Hours passed, and the battlefield was littered with debris from their relentless clash. Both Rexy and SCP-682 were exhausted, panting heavily as they circled each other warily. It was clear that only one of them would emerge victorious from this battle. With a final surge of energy, Rexy launched herself at SCP-682, her glowing purple eyes piercing through the smoke-filled air. The shockwaves from their collision echoed throughout the battlefield, shaking the very ground beneath them. And then, in a moment that seemed to last an eternity, SCP-682 collapsed to the ground, defeated. Rexy stood tall and proud, her purple eyes gleaming with triumph as she let out a victorious roar that echoed through the night. But her victory was short-lived, as a portal suddenly appeared behind her, pulling her through to the other side. Rexy emerged in an empty hangar, surrounded by smoke and silence, her body covered in bruises from the battle. As she settled down on the floor, her eyes slowly closing in exhaustion, she was startled by the sound of sobbing. Blue, the female velociraptor, was curled up beside her, tears streaming down her face. Rexy felt a pang of sympathy for her fellow dinosaur, reaching out with her tail to comfort her. Blue slowly calmed down, a small smile forming on her face as she snuggled closer to Rexy's warm body. And as the night wore on, with Spinosaurus, her potential love interest, sleeping beside her, Rexy drifted off into a deep, peaceful slumber, a soft chuckle escaping her lips as she dreamt of the battle that had tested her to her limits. It was a night of triumph and camaraderie, one that would be remembered for years to come in the hearts of those who had fought alongside her. Words. 520. Rexy, the female adult T-Rex from Jurassic World, was known for her incredible strength and power. With her purple glowing eyes, she possessed supernatural abilities that allowed her to emit purple energy waves from her roar and tail swipes. This made her a formidable opponent in battle. One day, Rexy found herself facing off against a dangerous creature known as SCP-682. This creature, with its green glowing sharp teeth, claws, and bladed tail, proved to be a worthy adversary. As the two clashed, Rexy found herself getting injured, with scratches, wounds, and bites covering her body. But Rexy's purple glowing eyes gave her an advantage. They allowed her to heal and regenerate her damaged body parts endlessly without any limitations. This, combined with her increased agility and reflexes, made her a force to be reckoned with. As the battle raged on, shockwaves filled the battlefield as the two creatures relentlessly fought. Hours passed, and both Rexy and SCP-682 grew tired and exhausted. In a final clash, the shockwaves emitted by their collision spread across the entire area. Eventually, SCP-682 collapsed on the ground, unable to continue the fight. Rexy, on the other hand, vanished through a portal behind her, emerging in an empty, smoke-filled hangar at an airport. Bruised and exhausted, she settled down on the floor to rest. In her sleep, Rexy chuckled to herself, still feeling the adrenaline from the battle. Nearby, Blue, the female velociraptor, was seen crying. Rexy, stirred from her slumber, comforted Blue with her tail, allowing the smaller dinosaur to find solace. As Rexy drifted off to sleep once more, Spinosaurus, her potential romantic interest, lay beside her, his clawed arms resting on her head. He asked how her day had been, and she replied with contentment. As Zeb, the male Giganotosaurus, slept nearby, the group of companions found solace in each other's presence. Despite the dangers they faced, they knew they could rely on each other for comfort and support. As the night wore on, the sound of their peaceful breathing filled the hangar, a stark contrast to the chaos of the battle they had just faced. In the darkness, they found a moment of peace, knowing that together, they were stronger than any foe they might encounter. And so, Rexy and her companions slept soundly, the echoes of their battle fading into the night as they dreamed of new adventures to come. The bond between them was unbreakable, a testament to the power of friendship and loyalty in the face of danger. And as the sun rose on a new day, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that together, they could overcome anything. Words. 448. As the sun set on the battlefield where Rexy and SCP-682 had clashed, the smoke cleared to reveal the two colossal creatures standing face to face, panting heavily. Rexy, with her purple glowing eyes dimming slightly, and SCP-682, with its green energy waves fading. You put up a good fight, SCP-682, Rexy said, her voice rumbling like distant thunder. But it looks like I came out on top. SCP-682 snarled, its green eyes narrowing in defiance. This isn't over, T-Rex. I will return, stronger than ever. Rexy let out a low growl, her purple eyes flashing with determination. I'll be ready for you, anytime, anywhere. With that, SCP-682 collapsed to the ground, defeated. Rexy turned and began to walk away, her massive form disappearing through a swirling portal behind her tail. Hours passed, and night fell upon the airport hangar where Rexy had emerged. She lay on the cold floor, her body covered in bruises and scratches, but a content smile on her face as she slept peacefully. Blue, the velociraptor, approached Rexy, her eyes filled with tears. Are you okay, Rexy? She asked softly. Rexy opened her sleepy eyes and looked at Blue. I'm fine, Blue. Just a little tired from the battle. Blue nodded, a smile forming on her face. Thank you for protecting us, Rexy. You're the bravest dinosaur I know. Rexy let out a low chuckle and nuzzled Blue with her snout. You're welcome, Blue. Now get some rest, we have a big day ahead of us tomorrow. As Blue settled down next to Rexy, Spinosaurus, the male potential companion of Rexy, yawned and stretched beside her. How was the battle, sweetheart? He asked, his eyes full of concern. Rexy smiled at Spinosaurus and replied, it was tough, but we came out on top. Thanks for being by my side, Spino. Spino wrapped his long clawed arms around Rexy's head and pulled her close. I'll always be here for you, my love. As Rexy drifted off to sleep, another male companion of hers, Zeb the Giganotosaurus, lay beside Spino, his massive form adding to the warmth of the group. Together, they slept peacefully, ready to face whatever challenges came their way. In the peaceful night, the dinosaurs' snores blended with the hum of the airport hangar, creating a symphony of sleep. And as the stars twinkled above, Rexy dreamed of new adventures and battles to come, knowing that she had a loyal pack by her side. The night passed, and the sun rose once again, casting a golden light on the sleeping dinosaurs. They stirred awake, ready to face the day ahead with bravery and unity. And so, the tale of Rexy and her companions continued, filled with thrilling battles, heartfelt moments, and unwavering loyalty. Together, they would conquer any challenge that came their way, their bond stronger than any force in the universe. Words. 483. The sun was setting over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the vast battlefield where two titans were locked in an epic clash. Rexy, the formidable female adult T-Rex from Jurassic World, stood her ground with her purple glowing eyes shining brightly. She had honed her fighting skills to the point where she could emit purple energy waves from her roars and tail swipes, thanks to the unique abilities her glowing eyes granted her. On the other side of the battlefield stood SCP-682, a monstrous creature with green glowing eyes that emitted their own energy waves. The two colossal beings clashed with ferocity, each one trying to gain the upper hand over the other. As the battle raged on, Rexy found herself getting injured by SCP-682's sharp teeth, claws, and bladed tail. She was scratched, wounded, stabbed, bitten, and gnashed by the relentless attacks of her foe. But despite the pain, Rexy refused to back down. She tapped into the full potential of her glowing purple eyes, increasing the intensity and brightness to evolve her healing and regeneration abilities. With each blow she received, Rexy's body would regrow damaged or lost body parts endlessly, thanks to her glowing eyes. Her ungodly running speed, agility, and reflexes also increased, allowing her to dodge and counter SCP-682's attacks with precision. Hours passed, and the battlefield was filled with the sound of their clashes, echoing through the air. Shockwaves rippled out from every collision, shaking the ground beneath them. But neither Rexy nor SCP-682 showed any signs of slowing down. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of battling, the two beings collapsed from exhaustion. SCP-682 lay motionless on the ground, defeated by Rexy's tenacity and strength. As Rexy started to disappear through a portal behind her, she emerged in an empty, smoke-filled hangar at the airport. Covered in bruises and scratches, Rexy settled down on the floor, closing her eyes as she finally allowed herself to rest. Blue, the female adult velociraptor, was crying and sobbing nearby, and Rexy, in her sleepy state, comforted her with a gentle touch of her tail. Spinosaurus, Rexy's potential romantic companion, yawned and lay beside her, asking her about her day. Zeb, the male Giganotosaurus, also slept peacefully beside them, forming a protective circle around Rexy. As the night wore on, Rexy drifted into a deep sleep, murmuring words of comfort to her companions. The battle with SCP-682 had been long and grueling, but she had emerged victorious, thanks to her indomitable spirit and the power of her glowing purple eyes. In the peaceful darkness of the night, Rexy found solace in the presence of her friends and the knowledge that she had proven herself once again in the face of unimaginable danger. And as she drifted off into dreamland, a smile played on her lips, knowing that she was surrounded by those who cared for her and would always have her back. Words. 494. Rexy yawns heavily. Finally some peace and quiet. Blue, sobbing Rexy. Rexy slowly opens her tired eyes. Blue. What's wrong? Blue sniffles. It's just. I miss him, Rexy. Rexy sighs. I know, Blue. We all miss him. But we have to stay strong. Spinosaurus yawning. How was your day, sweetheart? Rexy smiling sleepily. Long and exhausting, as usual. But I managed to take down SCP-682. Spinosaurus impressed. That's my girl. I knew you could do it. Zeb mumbling in his sleep. Good job, Rexy. Rexy chuckles softly. Thanks, Zeb. I couldn't have done it without all of you. Blue sniffling. I wish he was here to see it. Rexy, he's watching over us, Blue. He's always with us in spirit. Spinosaurus wrapping his arms around Rexy. We'll get through this together, Rexy. We always do. Rexy closing her eyes. I'm lucky to have all of you by my side. Good night, my friends. Blue snuggling up to Rexy. Good night, Rexy. Thank you. Spinosaurus kissing Rexy on the forehead. Sweet dreams, my love. Zeb mumbling in his sleep. Sleep well, Rexy. We'll protect you. As the night falls, the gentle hum of the air conditioner fills the hangar. The sound of soft breathing and peaceful snores lull the dinosaurs into a peaceful slumber. The echoes of their battles and struggles fade away, replaced by the tranquility of the night. In the darkness, Rexy dreams of green and purple energy colliding, of endless clashes and powerful roars. But in her dreams, she is not alone. She is surrounded by her loyal companions, by the love and support of her friends. And as the night goes on, the bond between them grows stronger. They may face challenges and dangers, but as long as they have each other, they know they can overcome anything. With a content smile on her face, Rexy drifts off into a peaceful sleep, knowing that no matter what trials may come their way, they will always stand together, united and strong. And in that unity, they find the strength to face whatever the future may bring. Words. 348. Rexy slowly opened her eyes, feeling a sense of exhaustion wash over her from the intense battle she had just faced against SCP-682. She groaned heavily, feeling every muscle in her body ache as she tried to sit up. As she moved, she noticed Blue, the female adult velociraptor, sobbing and crying beside her. Blue, what's wrong? Rexy asked, her voice hoarse from the epic battle she had just endured. Blue sniffled, wiping away tears as she looked up at Rexy. I thought I lost you out there. I was so scared, she said softly. Rexy's heart went out to Blue as she reached out her massive clawed hand to gently pat her on the head. It's okay, Blue. I'm here now. We made it through together, she reassured her, a soft smile forming on her face. Just then, Spinosaurus, Rexy's potential romantic interest, yawned and stretched beside her. He placed his long clawed arms around Rexy's head, nuzzling her affectionately. How was your day, sweetheart? He asked, his deep voice filled with concern. Rexy chuckled softly, feeling a sense of warmth wash over her from Spinosaurus's affectionate gesture. It was eventful, to say the least. But I'm just glad to be back with all of you, she replied, feeling grateful for the companionship of her fellow dinosaurs. Beside Spinosaurus, Zeb, the adult male Giganotosaurus, stirred in his sleep, letting out a contented snore. The sight of her companion sleeping soundly beside her filled Rexy with a sense of peace and comfort. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to drift off into a much-needed rest. As she slept, her mind drifted back to the battle with SCP-682. The sheer power and intensity of the clash sent shivers down her spine, even in her dreams. The memory of the glowing purple energy waves emanating from her roar and tail swipes filled her with a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had pushed herself to her limits, tapping into the full potential of her purple glowing eyes to emerge victorious against the formidable SCP-682. Suddenly, Rexy let out a soft chuckle in her sleep, muttering a few words under her breath. I am the apex predator, she mumbled, a sense of determination in her voice even in her slumber. As the night stretched on, the gentle hum of the air conditioning filled the hangar where they lay. The peaceful sound combined with the soft snores of her companions lulled Rexy into a deeper sleep. She dreamed of endless fields to roam, of battles won and challenges faced. And through it all, she knew that as long as she had her loyal companions by her side, she could face anything that came her way. The night passed by in silence, with Rexy sleeping soundly, embraced by the warmth and comfort of her friends. And as the first light of dawn crept through the windows of the hangar, she stirred, feeling a renewed sense of strength and determination coursing through her veins. With a soft smile on her face, Rexy opened her eyes, ready to face whatever challenges the day may bring, knowing that she was not alone in her journey. She had her pack by her side, and together, they were unstoppable. Words. 543. Rexy, the female adult T-Rex from Jurassic World, stood tall and powerful, her purple glowing eyes scanning the area as she prepared for her next battle. The energy waves she emitted from her roar and tail swipes crackled with power, a testament to her own fighting skills. As she prowled the landscape, Rexy sensed a formidable presence nearby. It was SCP-682, a fearsome creature known for its monstrous strength and unrelenting tenacity. The green glow of its sharp teeth, claws, and bladed tail indicated its readiness for a fight. With a fierce roar, Rexy charged towards SCP-682, her purple eyes blazing with determination. The two behemoths clashed in a battle of epic proportions, each landing devastating blows on the other. Rexy's body was scratched, wounded, and stabbed, but she refused to back down. As the fight raged on, Rexy tapped into the full potential of her glowing purple eyes. With each passing moment, her healing and regeneration abilities evolved, allowing her to regrow lost body parts with ease. The intensity of her energy waves increased, matching SCP-682's own powerful attacks. The battle seemed endless, with shockwaves rippling through the battlefield with every collision. Hours passed, but Rexy and SCP-682 showed no signs of giving up. Their clash was fierce and unyielding, pushing both creatures to their limits. Finally, after a final clash that rocked the entire area, SCP-682 collapsed, unable to continue the fight. Rexy, exhausted but victorious, took a moment to catch her breath before disappearing through a portal that appeared behind her. Emerging on the other side in an empty hangar at the airport, Rexy settled down on the floor, covered in bruises but victorious. As she closed her eyes to rest, she heard a familiar sobbing nearby. It was Blue, the female adult velociraptor, who had been watching the battle unfold. Rexy, in her tired state, reached out to comfort Blue, who soon settled down beside her, finding solace in Rexy's presence. As Rexy drifted off to sleep, she felt the familiar warmth of Spinosaurus, her potential romantic interest, sleeping beside her. His comforting presence eased her exhaustion, and she found herself smiling in her sleep. Besides Spinosaurus, Zeb, the adult male Giganotosaurus who had become a loyal companion to Rexy, also slept soundly. The trio of powerful dinosaurs rested peacefully, their bond unbreakable after facing such a formidable foe together. As dawn broke, Rexy stirred awake, her purple eyes gleaming with renewed strength. She was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that with her loyal companions by her side, she could face anything that came her way. And so, the story of Rexy, the fierce T-Rex with glowing purple eyes, continued on, filled with adventure, camaraderie, and endless possibilities. Words. 459. Rexy opened her eyes slowly, feeling a wave of exhaustion wash over her. She had just engaged in a fierce battle with SCP-682, a formidable opponent with immense strength and regenerative abilities. As she lay on the floor of the empty airport hangar, she could still feel the lingering effects of the brutal clash. As she tried to drift off into a peaceful slumber, she heard the sound of crying nearby. She turned her head slightly to see Blue, the female velociraptor, sobbing softly. Rexy's heart went out to her companion, and she gently laid her tail on Blue's back, offering her comfort. "You okay, Blue?" Rexy murmured softly, her voice filled with concern. Blue looked up, her eyes shining with tears. "I miss Charlie," she whispered, referring to the fallen velociraptor who had once been part of their pack. Rexy nodded understandingly. "I miss her too, Blue. But she'll always be with us in spirit." Blue smiled through her tears, finding solace in Rexy's words. She snuggled closer to Rexy's side, feeling a sense of security and warmth in her presence. Meanwhile, Spinosaurus, Rexy's potential love interest, yawned and stretched beside her. "How was your day, sweetheart?" he asked, his deep voice rumbling with affection. Rexy smiled sleepily. "It was tough, but I managed to hold my own against SCP-682. Thanks for asking, Spino." Spino nuzzled her gently, his long clawed arms wrapping around her protectively. "You did great out there, Rexy. I'm proud of you." Rexy closed her eyes, feeling a surge of happiness at Spino's words. She was grateful to have such a supportive companion by her side. As she started to drift off into a peaceful sleep, another member of their group, Zeb the Giganotosaurus, snored softly nearby. The hulking dinosaur had been a loyal friend to Rexy for years, and she felt a sense of comfort knowing he was there. As the night wore on, the group of dinosaurs slept soundly in the quiet hangar, their breathing slow and steady. The dim light of the moon filtered through the windows, casting a soft glow over their peaceful forms. Rexy dreamt of a time when she could live in peace, free from the constant battles and struggles of her existence. She longed for a world where she could roam freely and without fear, surrounded by friends who cared for her deeply. As the first light of dawn began to creep through the windows, Rexy stirred slightly in her sleep. She felt a sense of contentment and happiness wash over her, knowing that she was surrounded by those who loved and supported her. And so, as the sun rose on a new day, Rexy and her companions slept on, their dreams filled with hope and the promise of a brighter future ahead. Words. 467. It had been a long and grueling battle for Rexy, the female adult T-Rex from Jurassic World, as she faced off against SCP-682. The two giant creatures clashed endlessly, each emitting energy waves from their glowing eyes, Rexy's purple and SCP-682's green. As the hours passed, Rexy found herself scratched, wounded, stabbed, and gnashed by SCP-682's sharp teeth and claws. But she refused to give up, using her glowing purple eyes to heal and regenerate her damaged body parts constantly and endlessly. With each clash, the shockwaves reverberated across the battlefield, creating a scene of chaos and destruction. But Rexy's determination never wavered, as she continued to push herself to her limits. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, SCP-682 collapsed on the ground, unable to continue the fight. Rexy, exhausted but victorious, disappeared through a portal behind her tail, emerging in an empty hangar at the airport. As she settled down on the floor, Rexy could feel the bruises covering her body, but a sense of satisfaction washed over her. She had faced one of the most dangerous creatures in existence and emerged victorious. But her moment of triumph was short-lived, as she noticed Blue, the female adult velociraptor, crying and sobbing nearby. Rexy, empathetic despite her own exhaustion, comforted Blue with her tail, offering solace to the grieving velociraptor. As she drifted off to sleep, Rexy was joined by Spinosaurus, her potential romantic interest, and Zeb, another companion. The three massive creatures slept peacefully, forming an unlikely but strong bond in the face of adversity. Deep in the night, Rexy mumbled words of reassurance and comfort to her companions, her glowing eyes dimming as she finally succumbed to sleep. The hangar was filled with the sounds of their deep breaths and the gentle whirring of the air conditioning unit. In the quiet of the night, Rexy's dreams were filled with memories of the battle against SCP-682, but also with moments of tenderness and connection with her newfound friends. And as the night passed, the unlikely group of creatures found comfort and solace in each other's presence, forging a bond that would endure beyond the challenges they faced together. Words. 365. It was a dark and stormy night in the land of dinosaurs, where the mighty T-Rex, Rexy, was preparing herself for a battle unlike any other. With her purple glowing eyes, she honed her fighting skills to perfection, emitting purple energy waves from her roars and tail swipes. She knew that she was ready to face off against the infamous SCP-682, a creature known for its incredible strength and ferocity. As Rexy ventured into the depths of the jungle, she could sense SCP-682's presence looming nearby. The ground shook as the two titans finally came face to face, their eyes locking in a fierce battle of wills. SCP-682 lunged at Rexy with razor-sharp teeth and claws, inflicting deep wounds on her body. But Rexy's glowing eyes only grew brighter, her healing and regeneration powers evolving to new heights. With each strike from SCP-682, Rexy's purple energy waves grew stronger, matching the green energy waves emitted by her opponent. The clash between the two giants sent shockwaves across the battlefield, their roars echoing through the night. Hours passed, and still, the battle raged on, neither side willing to back down. But finally, after a grueling fight, both Rexy and SCP-682 were exhausted, their bodies battered and bruised. SCP-682 collapsed to the ground, defeated by Rexy's sheer determination and power. As Rexy stood victorious, a portal appeared behind her, beckoning her to safety. Emerging on the other side, Rexy found herself in an empty hangar at the airport, the chaos of battle replaced by silence. She let out a contented sigh, settling down on the floor to rest. As she drifted off to sleep, a familiar face approached her, Blue, the velociraptor who had lost her family in the battle. Rexy opened her eyes to see Blue sobbing and mourning her loss, her heart heavy with grief. With a gentle touch of her tail, Rexy comforted Blue, offering her solace in her time of need. Nearby, Spinosaurus, Rexy's potential love interest, and Zeb, her loyal companion, slept peacefully, their presence a comfort to her in this moment of rest. As the night stretched on, Rexy drifted in and out of sleep, the events of the day replaying in her mind. Despite the battles she faced and the losses she endured, she knew that she was surrounded by those who cared for her. And as she closed her eyes once more, a sense of peace washed over her, knowing that she was not alone in this world of danger and uncertainty. In the quiet of the hangar, Rexy smiled in her sleep, a silent reminder of the strength and resilience that had carried her through the challenges of the day. And as the night faded into morning, she knew that she was ready to face whatever came her way, with her loyal companions by her side. Words. 480. Rexy groaned as she slowly opened her eyes, still feeling the exhaustion from her intense battle with SCP-682. She looked around and saw Blue, the female adult velociraptor, sobbing and crying next to her. Rexy let out a tired sigh and gently laid her tail over Blue, trying to comfort her. Hey there, Blue. It's okay, we'll get through this together, Rexy said in a soothing tone. Blue looked up at Rexy with tears in her eyes, grateful for the comfort. Thank you, Rexy. I miss my sister so much, she whispered, her voice filled with sorrow. Rexy nodded understandingly. I know, Blue. I miss them too. They were brave warriors, just like you. As Rexy and Blue shared a moment of silent sorrow, Spinosaurus, the male potential boyfriend of Rexy, yawned and stretched beside them. He looked at Rexy with adoration in his eyes. How was your day, sweetheart? Spinosaurus asked, his voice filled with concern. Rexy gave him a sleepy smile. It was tough, but I'm glad to be here with you and Blue. Spino gently placed his long clawed arms on Rexy's head, a gesture of love and support. I'm here for you, always, he whispered. Suddenly, another male companion of Rexy, Zeb the adult male Giganotosaurus, stirred in his sleep and mumbled something unintelligible. Rexy chuckled softly at the sight of her sleeping companions. I'm surrounded by the best company, Rexy said with a contented sigh. I couldn't ask for more. As the night wore on, Rexy drifted off to sleep, a small smile on her face. She dreamt of epic battles and heroic victories, of a world where she and her companions were unbeatable. In her dreams, she heard the distant roar of SCP-682, but this time it was a sound of defeat. She had emerged victorious, stronger and more determined than ever before. As the night sky faded into dawn, Rexy slept peacefully, knowing that she was not alone in her battles. With her loyal friends by her side, she was ready to face whatever challenges the future held. And so, in the quiet hangar of the airport, Rexy and her companions slept soundly, their dreams filled with visions of adventure and triumph. And as the sun rose on a new day, they would awaken, ready to face whatever dangers awaited them. For they were warriors, united in purpose and strength, bound by a bond that could not be broken. And together, they would conquer all obstacles, no matter how daunting or fierce. And so, the saga of Rexy and her companions continued, their journey filled with danger, excitement, and the unbreakable power of friendship. And as long as they stood together, they knew that they could overcome any challenge, no matter how impossible it may seem. And so, they slept on, their hearts filled with hope and determination, ready to face the next chapter of their epic adventure. And as the world around them stirred to life, they knew that their destiny awaited, and they would face it together, as one. Words. 510. Rexy, the female adult T-Rex from Jurassic World, had always been a formidable force to reckon with. But her recent discovery of her glowing purple eyes had taken her abilities to a whole new level. She could now emit purple energy waves from her roar and tail swipes, adding a deadly edge to her already powerful fighting skills. One day, as Rexy was roaming the expansive landscape, she came face to face with a creature unlike any she had encountered before, SCP-682. This monstrous being, with its green glowing sharp teeth, claws, and bladed tail, posed a formidable challenge to Rexy. The two creatures clashed relentlessly, their collisions sending shockwaves across the battlefield. Despite SCP-682's best efforts to injure Rexy, she refused to back down. Her glowing purple eyes enhanced not only her healing and regeneration abilities but also her speed, agility, and reflexes. With every blow she took, she only seemed to grow stronger, regenerating her damaged body parts endlessly. Hours passed, and the battle between Rexy and SCP-682 showed no signs of abating. The two creatures fought with ferocious intensity, their roars echoing through the air. Finally, in a final clash that shook the very ground beneath them, SCP-682 collapsed, defeated. Exhausted but victorious, Rexy made her way through a portal that had mysteriously appeared behind her. Emerging on the other side in an empty hangar, she settled down on the floor, her body covered in bruises from the battle. As she closed her eyes to rest, a tearful Blue, the female adult velociraptor, approached her, mourning the loss of her fellow velociraptors. Rexy, despite her exhaustion, comforted Blue with a gentle touch of her tail, offering her solace in her time of grief. Nearby, Spinosaurus, Rexy's potential romantic interest, and Zeb, the male Giganotosaurus, slept peacefully, unaware of the emotional turmoil unfolding around them. In her sleep, Rexy murmured words of encouragement to Blue, assuring her that they were not alone. The bond between the dinosaurs was strong, forged through countless battles and shared experiences. As the night wore on, Rexy's remaining companions slept soundly, their bodies entwined in a display of unity and strength. The next morning, as the sun rose over the horizon, Rexy opened her eyes to a new day. The events of the previous night felt like a distant memory, but the bond between her and her companions remained unbroken. Together, they stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, their glowing eyes a symbol of their unwavering determination and resilience. As the day began anew, Rexy and her companions set out once more, their spirits high and their hearts full of courage. The thrill of the unknown beckoned, but with their combined strength and unity, they knew they could overcome any obstacle that came their way. And so, the saga of Rexy and her companions continued, a tale of bravery, friendship, and the enduring power of hope. Words, 490. Rexy, groaning, what a day it has been. Blue, sobbing, I miss them, Rexy. I miss Charlie, Echo, and Delta. Rexy, slowly opening her eyes, Blue, I'm here. I know it's hard, but you're not alone. I'm here for you. Blue, sniffling, thank you, Rexy. I don't know what I would do without you. Rexy, comforting Blue with her tail, it's okay to grieve, Blue. We all lost someone we care about today. Spinosaurus, yawning, how was your day, my love? Rexy, smiling sleepily, long and exhausting, but worth it. We triumphed over SCP-682. How about you, Spino? Spinosaurus, resting his clawed arms on Rexy's head, just another day by your side, my dear. I wouldn't have it any other way. Rexy, closing her eyes, I'm glad to have you both here with me. Thank you for being by my side. Zeb, snoring softly, the joys of a good night's sleep after a hard-fought battle. Good night, everyone. Rexy, chuckling softly, good night, my friends. Sweet dreams to all. As the night fell over the airport hangar, Rexy, Blue, Spinosaurus, and Zeb drifted off to sleep, finding comfort and solace in each other's presence. Despite the challenges they faced and the losses they endured, they found strength in their bond and resilience in the face of adversity. And as they rested, the world outside continued to spin on, filled with new challenges and adventures waiting to be faced. But for now, in the peaceful embrace of sleep, they found a moment of peace and tranquility, knowing that they had each other to lean on through thick and thin. Words, 268.